Hello and welcome to another edition of Adulthood is a Project, the show where two sisters discuss the lessons learned and growth earned through the realities of life. I'm Charlie. You all know my sister Casey. And as you can see, we're back in the studio together again. We did decide to take advantage of the fact that we were together because we had so much fun recording in person that we wanted to take advantage of it and get a couple episodes together while we did this. So hey, here we are. Woo! There it went. I hope that went. I can't hear it today. That's okay. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
In today's episode, we will be discussing negative and toxic work environments.
Dun, dun, dun.
We will also discuss the ins and outs of how they affect workers and what, if anything, we can do to change them. Let's get started.
Let's get ready to rumble. Okay, so today's my turn to ask the quiz questions.
Oh, yeah.
And I gotta be honest, after the ones you did the other day, I almost feel bad.
Are you screwing me?
I'm not trying to. Honestly, this one was harder to come up with some quiz questions for.
Okay, mine was too, and I still managed.
I know. Okay, I might want to keep my winning streak too.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'm just saying, let's add to the toxic work environment.
Yeah. We're just living in the moment and seeing what happens. Okay, so 5 questions, 5 seconds.
Okay.
Ish. We don't, obviously, you guys have realized by now we're not quite timing them, but we're pretty close, so it's fine. So we're gonna,
I'm not
eyeball
peeking.
it. I think she's trying to peek. Okay. So we're gonna see what happens. Okay, are you ready?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Question 1. What is the top reason a workplace is deemed toxic?
Bad management.
Yes. Nice.
Nailed it.
Yes, for sure. Poor leadership and management. Okay. This one I think is probably gonna be the hardest because I would not. I'm like, ugh, but I found it interesting, so that's why I put it in.
Okay.
Every year, disengaged workers cost the U.S. economy up to how much money in lost productivity?
Cost the
United States economy, like in general.
40 million.
600. You're wrong.
Okay.
Okay, one wrong. 605 billion.
Wow.
I know.
That's
I'm a
wild.
negative. I know. Negative work environment.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, 1 out of every. This is like kind of hard, but it's also like, okay. So 1 out of every. How many blank? Like the blank. How many have left their job in the last 5 years because of their workplace culture?
Wait.
1 out of every blank have left their job in the last 5 years because of their workplace culture.
10.
5.
Oh, I was gonna say 5, and then I was like, nah, it's a little low.
Okay. Okay. All right. See, this is what I did, and I wasn't even trying to make them hard. I promise. It was just a rough one. Okay. 36% of employees say their manager doesn't know how to do this.
Their job.
I mean, I would kind of give that to you. The official answer was, what is lead a team?
Right.
But a manager's job is to lead a team. I'm going to give you that.
Give me that point.
I'm going to give you that point. For sure. Okay. And last, and this one might not be easy per se, except that I maybe quote this person a time or two.
Okay.
Like just in a general sense of, I'm like, oh, this person said this. So, who said leadership is not a license to do less? Leadership is a responsibility to do more. And I have a hint in this if you need one too.
Zig Ziglar.
No. Zig Ziglar. Although the name's familiar now that you said it. I'm gonna give you a hint though. My hint was, and we discussed this a few episodes because you hate it when it happens. But he also said start with why. And you don't like what's your why? But this person also said start with why.
I really don't know.
Okay. Simon Sinek.
Simon Sinek.
Yeah.
Zig Ziglar, Simon Sinek.
Same difference. That's why.
Same person. Same person.
Okay, that was okay. I really wasn't trying to make this hard for you, I promise. But that was just.
She wanted me to lose. It's fine.
I'd say I'm up 1. I didn't even din your right one. You just to get an extra one in there, guys. I think I missed her din.
I'm just saying that I even planted a song in your head yesterday.
You did. I know. That was. I know.
Planted the answer in her head.
And I didn't give this one to her. And I missed your din. But you could. I mean, you can reach the soundboard today.
I don't even know how to hit the soundboard.
I did that on purpose. I didn't want you to. No kidding. Well, we just used this laughter, applause, din, and cheer.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever used the giggle. Till right now. Okay. All right. So negative and toxic work environments. Oh, there's so much we can unpack on this one. I tell you.
So much.
So much to unpack. It's but I was just thinking about that. That question of it's the leadership.
It is.
Like they don't lead. And I think that is, man, it all trickles, right? It all trickles.
I'm experiencing a lot right now with my employment. And it's not even, so within a school, you'll have your school admin, and then you have your district admin. And
because who doesn't need extra bosses?
Extra bosses.
So that's always a good thing. As many bosses as we can get in here.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's the best. And so it's not even the school admin, right? At my campus, I would tell you all my coworkers, I love my coworkers. We have a great time,
Yeah.
And my site administration, they're awesome.
Okay, that sounds good.
Right. It would be amazing if the district would just get out.
Yes.
There is just so much negativity. I'm telling you, and when they walk in the door, you can just feel the energy shift.
Yeah. Oh, that's the worst.
Feel it shift. And
of like people trying to be on their best behavior.
I mean,
kind of thing.
I wouldn't even say that. I would say it would be more everybody's all of a sudden just they're here.
Ow. That's my site administration. Oh, no, district. L, district administration.
Ew. District admins here. Yeah. You'll see it. We'll walk down the hall and be like, oh, I guess who's here today?
Man, that is the worst. And I was thinking, like, when it comes to management, I always think, like, in the bigger picture of it, it's not just management. Like, that shit starts with the owner.
Yeah.
Or, like you said, like, you got your site, then you got to go up to district. Then, like, it starts at the absolute top.
Right.
100%.
Yes.
So that stuff can trickle down,
Exactly.
And
it comes, one other thing is just, so we have the district admin, and then you have the board of education, right? Like our board, our school board. And it's one of those things where, so-and-so on the board is friends with the district admin. Right? So are they going to take anything seriously when something's brought up? I think we're about to find out. And you don't know how it's going to play out, right?
Right.
And then past that, in education, I mean, quite frankly, we all unfortunately answer to parents. I say unfortunately because I mean, frankly, the parents don't know what's going on in the classroom all day. They don't know.
No, but I mean, that's just what this world is kind of come to with the. What's up? I think we kind of discussed that in another episode before, though, about the parental stuff. So that's definitely, but I can see how that would also affect that environment.
Yeah.
Right. Of that negativity that would come in there with it. You're just like, oh, good, another layer of that. So you, right, in the belief that.
And at this point, I'll be honest, the parents are answering to the kids.
I was like, I'm not gonna get on that.
I'm gonna say it.
Lord.
I'm gonna say
it. Do it, because just, you know what? Get it out there. Get it out there.
I mean,
because it's wild out there.
It's wild.
It's a wild west. It's a wild west. I'd say that. I don't even teach. It's the wild west out there.
I assure you, our parents weren't answering to us.
I can assure you they were not.
No. And
the bully episode.
Yeah,
when did we discuss this? When we're like, you get in trouble at school, you were in trouble at home. Right. It wasn't like you get in trouble at school and your mom's popping down to the school to tell them to treat you different. The mom's like,
yeah,
what'd you do to get in trouble? And you better fix that. And
yeah. And back then I can remember mom signing those papers that said, yeah, go ahead and spank my kid.
Oh yeah. Oh, the good old days.
Oh, the good old days.
Now we get spanked for different reasons. So we like it. Now
spanking's you got a paddle? Okay.
I'm like, spanking's not so bad now, but back then, especially when your sister reminds you that you took some spankings for her as kids. It's all love, you guys. That was all love. But I was thinking about, how, we've talked a lot about your attitude affects your day, affects your environment, everything starts in here, right?
Right.
But it can get hard when you're in a situation that you're almost, no matter how positive you might wake up and get to work, you got a kid in the mood, so immediately your head's like, oh, that parent's gonna get involved by tomorrow. And then all of a sudden someone's like, oh, district's on site. You're like, and then you got that one annoying coworker,
right,
who's just like, they think they run the whole show when they can't even run their own show. I'm just making that up.
I don't have anybody like that, but yeah.
And you get, so you have all these things that compound to, like, you're not just working on your own attitude, you got to fend off all this extra negativity.
You do, yes.
Because I am trying to think of a workplace where I've been all happy people. And I don't mean, like, obviously we're all allowed to have a bad day. It's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
But it just seems like every workplace has that one. It's just like, oh. So then you got to remember that. Like, is it one coworker or is it all your coworkers?
Right.
And you really got to focus on your attitude and what you can do to stop that negative environment.
Yes. And, you got to think. So, and okay, so I don't want to sit here and act like it's just schools that have this problem, right?
Oh, God, no.
It's the same thing.
Have you worked in a restaurant?
It's the same thing.
Are you kidding me? Oh, God bless it.
Yeah. And there's one thing where I just think, even as a server, right, I'm going to come back sometimes to the kitchen and I'm going to vent for a minute. I'm going to say, oh my gosh, table 85 out there.
These assholes.
This jackass says one more thing.
Yeah.
And then you know what? I go out to the table. I'm like, oh, is there anything else I can do for you today?
The show waiting.
I'd love to. I would love to do that. Yeah.
In the kitchen, like, hey, you got your little customer service voice. And we're saying customers because they can really help make or break some of your days for sure. And I would say like restaurant wise, you always end up with either that one like younger kid who wants to start drama somewhere and he's like, oh my God, like he's really not in the mood for it. Or you have the cook in the kitchen who didn't get his afternoon break and he's usually in a real chill mood, but he's not right now.
Yes.
Or so you still have, other coworkers that could be bringing that environment. Years ago, I worked with this girl. I don't quite know if this is going to go with this, but I feel like it does. I worked with this girl, and every damn shift, I just don't make any money here. I just don't make any money. I'm not making any money today. I don't know what kind of tips you're getting. I'm like, mine are good. Like, I'm having a good day. And it got to a point where a lot of us were like, we don't want to be on our shifts. And this was a slightly, like, bigger restaurant. So it wasn't necessarily a game, but we all would try to go to, if she was on this one, register, the POS system, we're all trying to go to the other one. And we would like stand in line just to avoid listening to her negativity.
Yes.
Because it was just bringing everyone else down when we're like, we're all trying to have a good day, man.
Yes.
Like there's enough other bad things in this restaurant that you adding that to it, like no one wants to listen to it.
Nobody.
That coworker, and this is, again, I mean, that was some years ago.
And
you get
I'll be the first. I am that coworker every once in a while. Where, I mean, I'm not super bad.
I'm like, you might have one bad table. You don't let it be your whole bad day.
But I laugh so much at myself is because I know how things are supposed to be set up, right? So, like, say, I'm going to give you this one example where we have the cup racks. And when they're empty, you got to walk around the corner and put them where they belong. And so many people slap them right down at the corner. And so here I come, and I've had it with this today. And I come in and I'm like, okay, friends, let me do a demonstration for you about where this belongs.
I've never been that coworker.
Or
kidding, I've done the same.
This one,
it's like you hit your limit when you feel like you're the only one doing it, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna lose my shit. Yeah. You gotta lose my shit. So now everyone gets to hear me lose it.
Yeah. And there was a kid the other day. I had to die laughing because as soon as I saw it, I knew it was him. Oh, we have the coffee mugs in one set of holders, and we have the cups in another holder. And the coffee mug was in the wrong holder. And I saw it. I was like, who's the dumbass that did this? And I was like, oh, I know who it was. Oh. It's like I'm walking around the corner. I was like, are you the dumbass? And he laughed. He laughs. He totally takes me, and he's just like, yeah, it's probably totally something I did. I'm like, I know it is, so go fix it.
You're like, don't leave it there.
Oh my gosh. And luckily he just went with it. He kind of laughed it off, and I was like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have called him a dumbass, but if you're listening to this, buddy, sorry about that.
But thanks for being good-natured about it.
Totally good-natured.
And not letting it ruin your day. So I understand the negative, toxic work environment with this one, trust me. Some days are so much harder than others.
I bet.
So much harder. I guess too, like I've just had, so many jobs throughout that it's like there's good and bad with all of them. Mm-hmm. There was a time I was working for a company and we merged with another company, and that went from there's a few people at the original place that I had some struggles with, but it was so few and far between, it didn't matter. Like the environment was seriously so fun. Mm-hmm. And when we merged with this other company, we're all like, we're going to bring our environment there. Like, we're going to bring us, our culture, how we do things. Like, we know we're in a good spot. Yeah. Like, we know we're a pretty damn good team. We're pretty tight. Right. And even though we have our little stuff, like, we all, in the long run, get along, this and that. And we go to the other company, and we couldn't do it. We tried. I mean, there was just it's like there were a lot of us, but there was more of them. Yes. And their work environment was so, like, no one was happy. I just remember, like, how you were saying that you could feel the energy when that administration came in. Yeah. This is like we had to move buildings, and you went in that building, and you just are like, oh, this isn't gonna, we got our work cut out. And we did try it, and I end up leaving there, probably maybe a year after that. I don't remember. But part of it was because of that. Just in general, we went from this like team environment where we really did want the same results,
Yes.
the job done, to an environment where it seemed like everyone wanted to blame someone else and not take responsibility.
Right.
And I think that can be a big part of it, is just the coworkers that don't want to take responsibility.
Right.
I just called some people out here. I'm not gonna name names, but the job that just shut down. We are way too small of a company for people to be. Oh, I didn't do that. There's literally no one else that was going to touch that. It would have been you. I don't think so. You know what? Maybe the customer did that when they did that. I'm like, I don't think the customer did that. You're the one that packed the pallet. Well, no, they had it all this. Okay. And it'd just be little stuff. Sometimes little, sometimes a little bit bigger. And it just drove me nuts.
Yeah.
Because what could have been, it was a mistake. It was what it was. And hey, let's fix it. Turned into, it wasn't me. Okay, I mean, who else could it have been? Which then leads to this environment of just take responsibility for your actions.
Yes.
Right? Because I think that's another thing of just respecting your coworker. Right. You know what? In fact, we just had this conversation yesterday morning because I didn't do a great job of editing an episode.
She didn't.
And I did say, oh man, I think it's this app, or what? It wasn't really the app. It was just how I chose to go about it. But instead of just blaming the full app, all I'm saying is I took responsibility for it.
She did.
Is what I'm trying to do with that.
So after I said, well, what you have to do in those situations is this. And she
have
said,
patience.
I thought that was going to be easier and I don't want to do that. Right. Which is fine. I don't care.
But I know, but I'm thinking, obviously this is us, so we're good. But this is a work environment.
It is.
And it's, you got to take responsibilities when you mess up, because that can make or break stuff too.
Yeah.
Right? Of like the teamwork. Like, are we all going towards the same goal?
I like to think we are.
I think we are. For sure. We definitely are. But in the bigger run of having, the office environment or a schoolish environment, whatever that might be, it definitely changes the feeling if you don't feel like you're all working towards the same stuff.
Yeah.
I've got a friend who works in a pretty large company. And some of the stories I hear from her, I'm just like, what? And there's a lot of call-ins. And when I say a lot, I mean, like, it's not rare of me every few days to be like, so do you even have a full staff today? And it's like maybe one day a week that someone on their staff didn't call in.
Oh, wow.
And again, I'm hearing one person's side of the story. I don't know any other coworkers of hers. But they all just hate their job so much that they call in.
So, you know
it's
what?
that productivity number of, 605 billion.
You know what's funny is, I'm going to sit here and tell you, our site that I tell you about at school, because we have 2 sites, our site, we don't have a large issue with absenteeism.
Okay.
We show up. We enjoy each other. I love my coworkers. We get along. We have great chemistry, everything. The other site where the district admin tends to hang out. Oh, they have some absenteeism problems. Wonder why.
Just saying. What if I interesting is too, it's almost like the people at the top when they're like, we have this problem. I'm all, take a look at yourself. Yeah.
If you point your finger at somebody, there's 3 more pointing back at you. Figure out what the problem is.
That's right. And that's how that quote with the, now I just gotta look it up again. Sorry, forgot you guys. But leadership is not a license to do less. It's a responsibility to do more. And I like that, because you really do, like, if you're going to take on that leadership role, and granted, this could be a whole other topic of discussion. I don't know that we'd ever cover it necessarily. But some of that does come from training.
Yes.
Right? Like, leaders, a lot of people that are put into leadership positions aren't even trained to be a leader.
Yes, that's true.
So then they don't know how to build their employees up.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know that that's really going to go with today's topic per se, but I just kind of want to point that out because it really does, a lot of it does come down to people get put in those positions. And where I see that the most in my own personal life is 100% the restaurant business.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you've been here long enough. You know the menu. You see how we do discounts. Here, have a key card. They're not trained how to really like build up their employees or do, just create that environment. It's more like, oh, right. And it's, well, you've been here long enough too, so whatever. You know how it works. You kind of see how we do things. Okay. I've never managed a person in my entire life, but sure.
Right.
Let me take that on.
Yeah.
And then someone's going to get annoyed on your shift because you're managing different than another manager. And it's like, none of us were trained at all the same way.
Right.
At all, even in general. So, yeah, we're going to be doing it different. And, yes. And you're still going to get difference just in personality differences.
Definitely personality differences. And I mean, and leadership style, right? So what is their leadership style? Is their leadership style like the type that I'm going to pop in here and I'm going to help you out? Or is their leadership style the style that's, I'm going to tell you what needs done? I mean.
For sure. And how do those people know their leadership style when they're not even trained that there are leadership styles?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to remember when I first heard the term leadership style.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And I was a manager at 17. Managing.
Right.
18. Oh, I think I had to be 18, guys. So I think it was 18. So 8 years ago or something. But it's not like I was like, hey, you can be manager. And FYI, you might want to read this like book on management. Or here's how you lead people. Freaking 18. Like, I have a clue I have a strong personality, so I can definitely lead some people, but that's how my management in anything had gotten started.
Yeah. Well, the flower child was the manager at 18.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And it's not like she was given a book on leadership of any, and there's so many good books out there. Like, I do like the Simon Sinek. I like his stuff a lot. So I will read some of it. I haven't read a full book of his, to be honest with you. I read more quotes, and I listen to a lot of his like little clips and stuff of him talking. I like it.
So I took a class at one point in college that was leadership.
Okay.
And they had this simulator on the computer, and you had to go in and like make certain decisions about certain things, and your simulator would, like sometimes if you had made a certain decision, it'd be like, and your entire workforce just quit. Okay. Oops, just back it up.
Oh shit. Was it after COVID that you would see those posts going around with the pictures of like, due to shit leadership, like our entire staff quit and they just post it on the door and didn't show up to work those days?
Yes.
Because people, I have never done a study. I haven't read studies on it, is what I should say. Not that I've ever done a study. That really, whatever happened during COVID really got people looking at their quality of life. And your work environment affects that so much.
It does. I gotta tell you though, I just in my experience that I'm having right now, where, like I said, we're having this issue with district administration. What I've come to find is that I think people are too complacent. They won't stand up and say, here's a problem.
Oh, okay.
And whenever I'm not a complacent person.
Really?
Turns out I'll say things.
No.
So, but then when I'm trying to talk to, somebody else who I know you're having the same problems, and I don't want to get involved in that. Oh, you don't? Well, you're already involved. You're involved because you work here.
Right.
But I have found that I think too many people are just complacent and won't band together and do something
to help stop it.
Right.
Right. And some of it, I don't know if that's complacency. It is, I mean, definitely is for sure. And also, they just don't care. And I don't know if that goes. Scared. Well, I'm going to go with the restaurant side of things. I think people just don't care enough.
Maybe.
Where it's like, yeah, I could say something, and yeah, that is really effed up, and I don't agree with how it's going, but I don't care enough to change it. I'm going to work here. I'm going to make my money, and I'm out.
And you know what? I think some people are very just, I don't care. I'm here to make money. I'm not here to do whatever else.
Right. Like, so the leadership sets the tone.
It does.
Right?
Yeah.
And if the attitude I'm getting from an owner or the main leader is kind of like, well, it's fine. Like, we don't care that much, or we'll overlook that. Guess what that's going to do to me as an employee?
Right.
I'm going to quit caring so much.
True.
And I definitely go into stuff with, I feel like I go into jobs with my heart and soul. Like, I'm doing this. Like, I care. And whatever that job might be that I'm doing at the time, like, I want it to be done right. I want it to be done well. I want to have a good time while I'm here. And if you are consistently being shown that, well, someone doesn't care.
Right.
And I don't do this a lot. Like, I don't like to call a lot of shit out, if you will, just to keep the peace. But I will say at my serving job, a couple years ago, I hit a point where, and it was kind of said like, oh, you're the only manager who writes people up for this. And I'm like, well, we're supposed to.
Right.
Well, after realizing, and this has been going on for a while, of realizing like I'm giving people 3 write-ups and they're still here working all their same shifts. They're not getting in any trouble. They're not losing money. I'm like, why am I doing this? And then I cut my hours, and I was at, 1 day a week, I'm coming in here. And I'm seeing an employee not in uniform. I'm like, why am I the one saying something to this employee?
Right.
They've been working here now a month. First time I've met them, because I work 1 day. They're just not on my one shift.
Right.
And they've been here a month, and they're not wearing the right uniform, but we're just letting them work. That used to not fly.
Right.
But now who gives a shit?
Oh, yeah.
Apparently.
Who cares?
So I quit writing them up. I quit. What was the point?
Yeah.
If your GM was just in the store and saw this person before I came into work and hasn't said a single thing to them, why am I going to?
Yeah.
Right. And so that led to a decline in what my attitude was on how I took my job. Because after a while of seeing the management, if they don't care, why do I care? Like, why am I going to put my heart and soul into this if it's not going to get backed up somehow?
Okay. But then with that shift in your attitude towards your job, did that make it more positive for you?
It actually did for me, yeah. It truly did. It made it, I was like, you're like, hey, you just seem like you don't get as mad anymore. I'm like, because I quit caring. I quit having so much drive in here to make this, if you will, a perfect shift as far as like what's supposed to be by the books. And yeah, it has made my days so much. I'm like, let's have a good shift. Let's have fun. Do your job. So unless you're really screwing something up,
right?
I'm really not messing with it.
Yeah.
What do I care? And yeah, it definitely made me let that go, let it off my shoulders.
Right.
And has made it a lot more enjoyable in that respect. So I'm not sad about that part.
So I think sometimes, like in a work environment, when it's negative like that, you can either try to make a change, right?
Oh, yeah.
Go talk to management or whatever, or just portray yourself with a more positive attitude. Or your other option is switch your mindset.
Yes.
And you know what is funny is for me, like, say, if, for example, like my issue right now with work, it's not even, listen, I'm still having a great time at work. I love teaching. It's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Hell wants to be around kids all the time.
And I do. I love my coworkers. And it's not even about a mindset shift where it's like, oh, I don't care. I want justice for people's behavior. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
So it's not even about my work or how things are, how things are playing out in the classroom, anything like it. Nothing to do with that.
Sure.
I want justice for your behavior and how you treat people.
Yes. That is a big one.
And I don't know how to change my mindset on that.
And that, I don't know if you can. I think that's almost a core value.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's just I can change my mindset to not care if there's justice for your shit-ass behavior. I think that's just a core value of who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Like, because you wouldn't do that particular thing, then other people, and not, that sounded wrong. Because there's consequences to actions.
Right.
So when you're not seeing that justice come through that, it's frustrating, but I think that's a core value that you can't necessarily change.
Yeah.
And it's hard to change that outlook on, like, how you're looking at that.
Right.
Right. Which is, and I mean, that's kind of what we're saying. I was like, I changed my outlook on. So now I'm open that up a little bit, because the core value to me was do your job and do it properly and come in and I did almost pretty much gave up a core value of mine, but it's not my business that I'm running.
Right.
I guess. So maybe that's a different way of looking at that.
Right.
Like, I'm going to let that core value of mine go, realize it doesn't affect this particular place, and I guess it's still, I don't know. Yeah. Because it's who I am down at the core. Like, I think it's messed up when people don't get in trouble for their shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. But then you got, I guess it's one of those things where it's like, how big a deal
is it?
Like, you didn't wear the right clothes?
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Like, are there consequences? Apparently not. So who cares at this point?
Right.
Whereas, like,
the
mine
big
is those
stuff is something bigger.
Right?
Yeah,
like, my stuff's like bigger stuff, like, you know.
Yeah, mine's more uniform shit, to be honest with you. It's just so lame. Like, who gives a shit what someone else is wearing?
Right.
Except it's
and you know what?
To do that.
The, like, at the restaurant, I mean, who really gives a shit if somebody puts the cup holder here? No,
I know.
Nobody except for me. I'm gonna go wild with it.
And this is where I'm about to go postal. That is true. I think, but yeah, if it's in a bigger setting of something, so I guess it would really depend on how that looked. I think too is, as you were saying about what did it change in me? I'm like, it changed my mindset, right?
Yeah.
And so then, and again, like I've worked there for years, so I can either stay there, but I need to accept the fact that I'm choosing to stay there.
Right, that's your choice.
I can't come to work pissed off every day. I'm the one choosing to work there, and I had a good friend. I can call him out. My buddy Mark. He's got a podcast too. If anyone ever wants to check that out, by the way.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Sundays in the Shadows. Him and I've had this discussion a lot because we were working at the same location, and he's the one who probably pointed it out to me. He's like, "Well, you're the one that chooses to be there."
Yes.
I was like, "Ooh, that was a hard truth." You know, like it was a hard truth, but it was true.
Yes.
And in taking that thought process I've taken that into other jobs as well now. I'm choosing to be here. So either you come in here with a good attitude, or if you're not going to, then choose to be somewhere else.
Right.
I guess is where that was going to go.
Yeah.
Right? Because why choose to go in somewhere every day that you're miserable? Like,
yeah. I mean, because that's going to affect you coming home.
Oh,
how you act.
Yeah.
I mean, just.
Yeah. And you know, as we were saying in our positive affirmation episode, I think we said it in there. Pretty sure we did. You know, what you focus on, you get more of.
Right.
So if you want to come into work and focus on the negativity, that girl always said she never made any money. We all made better money than her. Like, I mean, we never talked about our money. That restaurant's way since closed down, so it doesn't matter. Of course, we never discussed our tips with each other. But we were always making better money than her.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, because we're all in a way better mood.
Yeah.
Like, we're focusing on the good.
Because if you come in and you're focused on, I don't make money, you're not going to make money for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then, yeah, if you go in, focus on the negativity, you're just going to keep seeing it.
Yeah.
So you can either choose to say, you know what, I'm going to come in here and focus on, like, what's making me happy today.
Yes.
And, you know, I know a couple people who work in some environments that it just seems they're just unhappy.
Yeah.
And there's no getting around it. They are unhappy. And every time I hear it, I think, then change it.
Change it.
Because what you're not changing, you're choosing.
Good point. I like that.
I mean, my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can either, if your work environment's that bad, maybe take a look at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, because like I said, you got one point in that way, you got 3 more coming this way.
Yeah.
So take a look at what you're doing or what you're adding to that, because, you know, in that situation where I'm like, I kind of quit caring. Again, was it worth getting upset over an outfit, a belt?
Right.
90% of the time is someone not wearing a belt, you guys. Like, was it worth getting mad over a belt? Or was it worth being like, you know what? Not a big deal.
Right.
Apparently, we're not as concerned about that as a company as a whole. So just let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go. Is this the? Oh, I was thinking. Did I tell that 2 shoes story? Okay, so I gotta share this.
Okay.
Okay, so that the restaurant job. This had been 3 years ago now. I think I was still stuck in that negative cycle there. I wasn't enjoying it the way I could have been. I wasn't bringing a great attitude to the table always either, right? Because I wasn't feeling it. A lot of coworkers were like, "Oh, you're funny, but you like no one wants to piss you off." I'm like, "Then do your damn job." Right? Like I wasn't even like I wasn't as fun as I could have been.
Right.
Just flat out. And I told myself, I'm never buying another pair of work shoes for this place again. Okay? So I said, listen, when these are done, I'm done. I just have to be.
Okay.
Like, I just can't keep doing this. So I'm serving one day, and I come walking out of the kitchen. I got my hands full, tray full of food, and I'm coming out, and I freaking trip. And I catch it, nothing spills, and I'm like, oh my God, I think I just tripped over that carpet. And I walk a little bit further, I trip again. I'm like, what is happening right now? Thank God I made it to the table, drop all the food off, and I turn around to look at this carpet. And I'm looking, I'm like, what? Why am I tripping over that? And I'm like, that's so weird. And I look, I'm like, oh, my shoe broke. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. And the sole had just come off. And I was folded down. And I go to walk again, I trip again. I'm like, now what is happening? It was both. It wasn't one shoe. Both shoes, same day, within 2 minutes time frame, had busted.
Oh no.
And I said, whoa, universe, this is it, huh? I mean, I said I wasn't buying more shoes for this place. I guess I'm done. And I'm literally in my head going, this is my last shift. Like, it's going to have to be. Like, I literally don't have shoes to work my next shift. And I refuse. I'm not doing it. I'm really struggling with this at this point. Because now I'm like, oh my God, oh shit, am I really ready to quit here?
Yeah.
So I go, my friend that I hike with, and we're out hiking, and I'm discussing this with her. Because I'm really like, I don't know how I feel about this, but that was a clear as hell sign. And she brought up a really great point, and she said, well, when you made that pact with yourself, you were in a different mindset. I said, that is true. And she had said, well, you've changed your mindset. Right. So when you're at work now, you're not near as frustrated. You're not near as angry. You're not all these things. So do you think you'd want to open your mind up to say, well, if I buy new shoes now, it's because I'm choosing to be here. And then I was reminded of my conversation with Mark. And I was like, but I'm not changing, I'm choosing. And I was like, but then I am officially choosing to be here if I go buy these shoes.
Right.
I bought the shoes. I bought the shoes. But I mentally, and there are days where I'm going to work and I'm like a little frustrated, but I go to put those shoes on and I remember that every time.
Yeah.
Now, because I had to change what I felt was a toxic environment.
Yes.
Right. So
mental mind shift.
Yeah. For sure. So I would say the lesson learned here in growth earned, right, is you can choose to break that toxic work environment with your attitude. Yeah. And if it's too much for you to do so, then move on and find a better fit for yourself.
Yeah.
Don't spend your life in a toxic environment.
Indeed. In our next episode, we're going to explore celebrating the wins. You're going to get our hot take on it. Thanks for listening. Until next time, go out there and be your favorite self.
Yes. And as always, we're going to encourage you to like, subscribe, share some of your favorite episodes. Comment. Let us know what you think about stuff. We love hearing from our listeners.